Welcome back to Everything All the Time. Man, that was fun with Hollywood Henderson. Huh?
Man. Thomas Hollywood Henderson.
And
Legendary.
still has it. I mean, I talk to him on the phone every now and then. He always says, well, I can't remember. He was great. I mean, he's as good at a sports interview as I've ever done.
And I love my favorite part was him and Richard Pryor being the first crackheads. I'm sorry I got to go there. This great legendary football player. But
no one knew what crack was until Richard Pryor blew up.
Yeah.
In the late 70s, right in Hollywood.
Yeah,
was
exactly.
And that's when I first met Pryor. I went and visited him at the hospital. And man, he had just horrible burns. And I was with him like a week before he died. What a great, funny guy.
The greatest comic.
You know what his last words to me were? No more cocaine for you. I said, I stopped that a long time ago. Welcome back. We're brought to you by Effortless. They are a loyal sponsor of ours and of this network, which is WCOBM. And they will, take all your information, put it on all your devices, your iPad, your iPod, your whatever, and your car, I guess. But they'll keep your business safe and away from other reaching hands.
From college hackers.
Well, those guys, the Apple thing was solved by some college guys.
Well, the FBI went and hired some college hackers. They set a private company, but they hired these kids that hacked into the iPhone. And the great thing now is the FBI, they had a report on CNN about this where one of the guys was asking, he said, well, whenever the FBI breaks into, they find a default in the software in a software system.
I'd like to make that call.
Yeah, they're supposed to notify the company that this is where the weakness is, and so that they can fix it. And now the FBI is saying because of national security, they're not going to let Apple know where the weakness is, and therefore they're not going to let them have a chance to fix it.
And also, so we never have a 7-Eleven again.
Yes. Yeah, we don't want to be down at 7-Eleven with all of our
When was that?
That was yesterday.
Yesterday, Donald Trump referred to 9/11, which is not funny, as 7-Eleven.
I'm sorry, but it's just
in front of a New York crowd.
Yeah, and the funniest part was there's a lot of people.
Not much funny about it. But.
You can see people in the background, and nobody really is like. I mean, they're so brainwashed that this guy does it. They don't really. Someone doesn't go. Wait a second, 7-Eleven. That's where you get the
Slurpees. We were saying during the commercial that Saturday Night Live will have a field day on that one.
If I don't get to it first, I got to try to get down there. Like Jake said, I got to get down in front of 7-Eleven with some of the really hard-working, hard-hitting people and see if we can't get some interviews to find out how they've been doing since 7-Eleven.
Football back when Thomas Henderson played was really football. I love it today. I love the game. It's great. Yeah. It's violent. But back then, those guys would just run into 100 miles an hour.
Well, also, I mean, you had the really hard hitters like Ed Too Tall Jones, Conrad Dobler. I mean, you had these guys that were, I mean, they would get you on the ground. They would spit like if you're on a pile, they'd spit on you.
Some of the guys in the Green Bay Packers would take before the game. They'd take their arm and they put whatever. There were no plastic bags back then, but whatever they had, and they would freeze. They put their arm in a freezer.
Right.
So their forearm, and as you know, your forearm is the most force you can get, which I showed you the day I beat you in golf.
Yeah.
But their whole arm would be ice. So they get up there and they hit a guy with their arm and be like hitting them with a lead pipe, But in the freezer, I don't know why they didn't put ice in there, but
that's back in the days when they had the screw-on cleats. And I mean, they would purposely step on you. I mean, the cuts, the scrapes, I mean, there was just, I mean, the only sport now, I mean, football as violent as can be is, I mean, like last night, a great, hockey, the Stanley Cup playoffs are going on right now. I love watching great hard hits, and I like watching clean hits.
Right.
But Kings won in overtime last night. Dustin Brown leveled a guy. And the puck is just sitting there.
I don't know how they get by in hockey.
Oh, well, they're so
the ref standing right there.
Well, the other side is you look at the hockey players.
Those guys hit.
Go down a bench, and you've got about 6 teeth on the whole bench.
Right. Well,
I mean, nobody's got teeth anymore. I mean, they
have good dentists, but I mean, the stuff that goes on in hockey. When I'm at a hockey match and I'm right in front of the window, and these guys are hitting each other, and the ref's right there, I say, well. How come that wasn't a problem?
Well, no, that's legal as long as you're not, going
Don't
to the
stick
head
him or something,
Yeah,
yeah.
you're not high sticking and going at the head. But as long as you're not leading, you're not boarding a guy, pushing his head into the boards. But I mean, hockey's changed a lot, like football has. I mean, hockey used to be way rougher than it is now. I mean, now they're required to wear helmets and face
Right.
masks.
Can you imagine being a goalie in hockey and not having a helmet?
Well, not before they even had. I mean, they didn't have masks until
Right.
Yeah, I can't imagine a puck, and that's not a. I mean,
A puck is like a rock,
it-
basically.
yeah, it is.
It's as solid a rubber as you can find.
Yeah, coming at you about 70 miles an hour, and just right.
That's
in,
what she said.
Yeah.
I don't know why I said
Oh,
that.
that was bad.
Hollywood Henderson still kicking it, and I just got a text from him, said let's do it again next year. He said if I behave, I will make 33 years of sobriety
See,
on
that's a guy,
on November 8th.
and that's such a great thing, and it's such a great guy who came from. I mean, you got to remember there was the worst incident probably in his career because I mean, he served 28 months in prison after.
After 7 months in a rehab.
Yeah, but yeah, and then he goes into prison. I mean, it's for a guy to do that, win the lottery, and then he takes all that money and he uses it for good. And you can't say enough great things about it.
But he won it twice.
Yeah, well, the second one was
Mayor
second
50 grand. It was
Mayor
100
50.
grand actually.
Yeah,
But
he took the payout. Smart guy.
on the 28 million, he did take the payout. 10.8 million upfront cash.
That's a
And
lot of
he
cash.
built a community center and that sort of thing. When I win the lottery, I will not do that.
You will not do that.
No, I'm joking. We help people all the time. So anyway, that's Hollywood Henderson. I remember in the 70s, I was just starting to work. And I remember out in South Dakota, we had 3 channels, and of course we were big Vikings fans out there.
Yeah.
But I remember the Redskins Cowboys
Huge.
rivalry was unbelievable.
Yeah, they always played on Thanksgiving Day in Dallas. That was a big game, and I got to go to that when I was a kid one year, and it's one of the greatest.
In Dallas?
Yeah,
Have you been to the new stadium?
I have not been to the new
Jerry
stadium.
Jones always told me, someday, Pat, I'm going to build a stadium. It's going to be all computerized and everything. And by God, he did it. And that screen, he has an HD television set, basically, television screen that's 60 yards long.
I know, it's
So
unreal.
if you go to if someone said, I have tickets to a Cowboy game, you don't need good seats. You can sit in the top and just stare at that TV the whole time.
I know, but I could also sit at home and watch it on.
Well, that's the thing. That's the
That's-
argument. We'll get into that someday. I mean,
Yeah.
if you're going to watch football, watch it at home.
What?
Nobody can afford it anyway. Then you get all the replays and.
Well, and now we've got the team coming to LA. There's, we're going to see how that's going to transpire, what's going to happen. And there's also, San Diego has an opportunity to still come to LA if they want to come to LA.
Well, LA could have gotten the Vikings. when
I'm
were
glad
good.
they got the Rams. I'm glad they brought the Rams back because it is the LA Rams. And I mean, at one time they played in the Coliseum. You had. I really glad it's the Rams.
I was there for Joe Namath's one game.
Were you there for his one game?
Yeah, I was.
Wow. I mean, the Rams were amazing, and I'm glad to see they're back. I hope San Diego finally does something to keep the Chargers down there, but they do have to do. That is the worst stadium. I've been in high school stadiums that
in San Diego?
that are better
Ah.
than San Diego.
And
Stadium.
that's how they hold these people hostage. Basically, is you build a stadium, and then we'll consider you for a Super Bowl.
Right. Well, yes.
And then you build some sort of shopping area around there, and we'll consider you. And notice that the people that get Super Bowls, some of the people walk by. The people that get Super Bowls have beautiful, brand new stadiums, and it's a payback. You
It
make a lot
is.
of money by
Yeah,
hosting a Super
I
Bowl.
went to Indianapolis Colts.
Every game should be played there. Every big game.
The Lucas Oil Stadium is one of the greatest I've been to a lot of stadiums. I've been to a lot of Super Bowls, as you have as well. And Lucas Oil Stadium is by far one of the greatest stadiums I've been in, and probably the best Super Bowl. I've been to 7, and I will say that is the best Super Bowl I've ever been to, as far as the way the city hosted it, the events that went on. Indianapolis, absolutely one of the greatest cities.
Because everything is right there.
Everything's there.
You
It's
don't need
it's
a
a
car.
great,
You don't need Uber. You don't need.
it's a
anything.
great community, and they really put on a great week of they put on a great week of football, a great week of sports.
I've been to 25 Super Bowls, hosted 4 of them.
Wow.
Effortless. We'll keep all your stuff on the cloud, and they'll keep it safe for you. They have what they call the Effortless Suite. That's what I call him after midnight. I don't know. Why did I say that?
I don't know. But I'm
Anyway,
glad both your
Effortless,
hands are on the
they'll take all
table.
your stuff, and they'll keep it safe. Well, Court, a good day. If you're living in the New York area, get out and vote today.
Yes,
And,
not at 7-Eleven.
Not at 7-Eleven. Once again, if you're just joining us, Donald Trump referred to 9/11 as 7-Eleven.
And if you're just joining us, you missed one hell of a show.
You can go back and watch it anytime on WCOBM.com. And we're on all the time. And if you get past Tony Boldy, I'm Pat O'Brien, Court McCollum. We'll see you next time.